Let's get right into it. Number 10. Phantom vibration syndrome. Imagine this. You're sitting there, perfectly still, phone in your pocket or on the desk, and you swear you just felt it buzz. A text, a notification, something. You snatch it up, check, and absolutely nothing. Crickets. Your brain just pulled a fast one on you. Welcome to phantom vibration syndrome, or as I like to call it, your phone-addicted nervous system throwing a mini-rave. This isn't some rare, quirky glitch that only happens to people who live in tinfoil hats. Nah, studies suggest that almost 90% of us have experienced this auditory or tactile hallucination. It's not just vibrations either. Sometimes you hear your phone ring when it's not. Why does your brain bother with such elaborate trickery? Well, it's a fascinating mix of expectation, habit, and a touch of modern anxiety. Our brains are essentially prediction machines. They're constantly trying to anticipate what's coming next to keep us safe, efficient, and, apparently, perpetually checking our phones. When your phone becomes an extension of your being, your brain creates a neural pathway so strong that it starts misinterpreting ambiguous sensory input. A subtle shift in your clothing, a muscle twitch, even a rumbling stomach can be instantly translated into "Phone! Someone needs you!" It's like your brain is a hyper-vigilant bouncer at the club of your senses, mistaking every rustle for a VIP arrival. Psychologists often link it to perceptual readiness, where your brain is primed to detect a specific stimulus, in this case, a phone notification. The more you expect a buzz, the more likely your brain is to invent one out of thin air. It's a testament to how deeply our technology has integrated into our very neurological wiring. So, next time your pocket buzzes with the ghost of notifications past, remember, it's not your phone acting up. It's your brain, desperately trying to stay connected, even if it has to make stuff up. Basically, your nervous system is throwing a tantrum in your honor. Number 9. Exploding head syndrome. Ever been jolted awake by what sounds like a bomb going off in your head, a cymbal crash, or a door slamming shut right next to your ear? And then you open your eyes and complete silence. Nothing. Your house is intact, your neighbors are still sleeping peacefully, and you're left wondering if you've finally gone completely mad. Congratulations, you've just experienced exploding head syndrome, which, despite the terrifying name, is actually harmless. Mostly. This nocturnal auditory hallucination is exactly what it sounds like. A sudden loud noise that seems to originate from inside your own skull, typically as you're falling asleep or waking up. It's not a dream and it's not a nightmare. You're fully conscious of the sound. People describe it as anything from a gunshot, a thunderclap, a roar, or an electrical crackle. It often comes with a flash of light, a jolt, or a feeling of panic, making you feel like your brain just tried to stage an internal coup d'etat. The science behind it is still a bit fuzzy because, well, it's hard to study something that happens only when people are trying to snooze. But the prevailing theory suggests it's a glitch in your brain's off switch. When you fall asleep, your brain typically shuts down its sensory processing centers in a nice, orderly fashion. First the visual, then the auditory, then the motor. With exploding head syndrome, it's believed that the auditory neurons fire all at once instead of gracefully powering down. It's like your brain's sound system tries to shut off, but instead of a gentle fade, it blasts one final ear-splitting chord. It's more common than you'd think, affecting up to 10–15% of the population at some point. Stress and fatigue are often cited as major triggers which, let's be honest, applies to about 99% of humanity right now. So, if you're pulling all-nighters and feeling the pressure, your brain might just decide to throw an impromptu noise party to let you know it's had enough. Don't worry, your head isn't actually going to explode, but it is a pretty dramatic way for your brain to say, hey, maybe chill out a bit. Number 8. The call of the void. You're standing on a high balcony, looking down at the street below. The view is great, you're perfectly safe behind a railing, and you have absolutely no intention of dying today. And yet, for one terrifying, fleeting second, your brain whispers, what if you just jumped? This isn't a suicidal thought. It's a bizarre, intrusive impulse known as the call of the void, or in its fancier French, l'appel du vide. It's that inexplicable urge to swerve into oncoming traffic, stick your hand in a blender, or throw your keys into a sewer drain. So, is your brain secretly trying to sabotage you? Not exactly. It's actually the opposite in a twisted, roundabout way. This phenomenon is thought to be a misinterpretation of a safety signal. Your brain is so acutely aware of the danger, wow, this is high, a fall from here would be fatal, that it conjures up the worst-case scenario to reinforce the importance of not doing it. Your survival instinct is working overtime, but the signal gets scrambled. Think of it like this. Your conscious mind is standing by the cliff edge saying, "Okay, be careful." Meanwhile, your primal lizard brain screams, "Danger! We could die!" The conscious brain receives that high alert signal and asks, "Why am I panicking? Oh, it must be because I secretly want to jump." It's a bizarre, high-stakes game of telephone between different parts of your brain. The signal for "I am afraid of falling" gets misinterpreted as "I want to jump." So, the call isn't an invitation to the abyss, but rather a profoundly strange affirmation of your will to live. It's your brain's way of checking that you're still in control by showing you the most out-of-control thing imaginable. It's basically your brain's version of a fire drill, except it involves simulating your own demise. Number 7. Hypnic Jerks. You're just drifting off to sleep, cozy in your bed, thinking about nothing in particular. Your mind is entering that sweet, floaty space between wakefulness and dreamland. Then, suddenly, your entire body convulses in a violent, involuntary twitch. You feel like you're falling, and you kick a leg out so hard you almost send your partner flying into the wall. This is a hypnic jerk, and it's your brain's clumsy attempt at hitting the emergency brake when it thinks you're dying. It's an incredibly common phenomenon, with around 70% of people experiencing these bedtime body slams. As you fall asleep, your muscles relax, your breathing slows, and your heart rate drops. Most of the time, this transition is smooth. But sometimes, your brain gets its wires crossed. It misinterprets this rapid muscle relaxation as a sign that you are, in fact, falling from a great height, like out of a tree, as our ancient primate ancestors might have. In response to this perceived mortal peril, your brain sends a massive electrical signal to your arms and legs to wake up and grab something. The result is that sudden, powerful jerk that jolts you back to full consciousness, heart pounding and wondering what just happened. It's a primal survival reflex that has stuck around long after we swapped tree branches for memory foam mattresses. Stress, caffeine, and exhaustion can make them more frequent, as they put your nervous system on high alert. So, when you get that falling sensation, it's not a premonition or a ghost pushing you. It's just your ancient monkey brain screaming, "The floor is lava," right as you're about to get some rest. Number 6, the doorway effect. You're sitting on the couch, and a brilliant idea strikes you. Or maybe you just remembered you need a glass of water. You confidently stand up, march into the kitchen, cross the threshold, and blank. Total mental void. The thought, once so clear and urgent, has completely evaporated, leaving you standing in the middle of the room like a sim whose player just canceled their action. What just happened? You've fallen victim to the doorway effect, your brain's bizarrely aggressive filing system. Psychologists call this an event boundary. Our brains are incredibly efficient, but also a bit lazy. To save processing power, they compartmentalize memories and intentions based on our environment. When you're in the living room, your brain has a living room file open, full of everything related to that context, including your brilliant idea or your thirst. But the moment you walk through a doorway into a new room, your brain sees that as a cue to close the old file and open a new one labeled kitchen. The problem is, your intention was saved in the living room file, which your brain has just helpfully archived to make space for new, kitchen-related thoughts. It's a mental reset button you never asked to press. This isn't a sign of memory failure or early-onset dementia. It's actually a feature of an efficient mind trying not to get bogged down by irrelevant information from a place you've already left. Unfortunately, that irrelevant information was the entire reason you got up in the first place. So next time you find yourself standing aimlessly in a room, just remember, it's not you. It's your brain's overly zealous software automatically closing the program you were still using. Number 5, chronic itchiness. An itch is a simple signal, right? Your body is telling you something is irritating your skin. You scratch it, it goes away. Simple. But what about an itch that never leaves? An itch that has no rash, no bug bite, no logical explanation? You find yourself scratching your arm, your leg, your scalp, constantly, sometimes without even realizing you're doing it. This is called chronic pruritus, and it can be one of your body's most maddening and misunderstood cries for help. While it can sometimes be linked to skin conditions, this phantom itch is often a physical manifestation of something deeper: chronic stress, anxiety, or even depression. Your psychological state has a profound impact on your nervous system. When you're stressed, your body releases a cocktail of chemicals, including histamine, the same compound that causes allergic reactions and, you guessed it, itching. Essentially, your brain is so overwhelmed with worry that it starts sending faulty signals down your nerve pathways. Think of it as a form of static on the line. Your nervous system is so fired up from anxiety that it misinterprets normal sensory input as an itch. It's the physical equivalent of feeling uncomfortable in your own skin. People can scratch themselves raw, trying to satisfy an itch that doesn't truly exist on the surface. It's not a skin problem, it's a signaling problem originating in the brain. So if you're constantly fighting an itch that has no cause, it might not be your laundry detergent. It could be your body, unable to use words, using the most annoying physical sensation it can think of to scream, "Hey, I am not okay up here." Number 4, craving ice. Do you ever get an intense, overwhelming urge to chew ice? Not just to cool down your drink, but a compulsive need to crunch, grind, and devour an entire tray of it. You might pass it off as a weird quirk, a harmless habit. But this specific craving, known as pagophagia, isn't random. It's one of the strangest and most specific signals your body can send that it's in desperate need of a mineral you're not giving it: iron. This is a classic, well-documented symptom of iron deficiency anemia, one of the most common nutritional deficiencies in the world. When your body doesn't have enough iron, it can't produce enough healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen effectively. The result is fatigue, weakness, and brain fog. So where does the ice come in? The science isn't 100% settled, but the leading theory is that chewing ice increases blood flow to the brain by stimulating the nerves in your mouth. This provides a temporary boost in alertness and clarity, combating the mental sluggishness caused by the anemia. Your body, desperately lacking a key component for basic survival, doesn't make you crave a steak or a pile of spinach. Instead, it sends this bizarre roundabout signal. It's like your car is out of gas, and instead of the fuel light coming on, the radio suddenly starts blasting polka music at full volume. The craving is a weird, indirect solution to a symptom of the problem. So if you find yourself inexplicably drawn to your freezer, don't just write it off. Your body isn't asking for a snow cone, it's screaming for iron. Number 3, microsleeps. You're driving late at night, and for a split second you realize your eyes were closed. Or you're in a boring meeting and you suddenly come to, realizing you missed the last 10 seconds of what your boss said. Your head might not have even bobbed. This wasn't just dozing off, you just had a microsleep. A microsleep is an involuntary episode of sleep that can last from a fraction of a second to 30 seconds. It's your brain's last-ditch emergency override switch when it's severely sleep-deprived. You've ignored all the polite warnings, the yawning, the heavy eyelids, the inability to focus. You've pushed through, telling yourself you're fine. But your brain knows better. It knows that without rest it cannot function, so it decides to take that rest, whether you agree to it or not. During a microsleep, parts of your brain literally go offline. Brain scans show that your brain waves switch to a sleep pattern, even if your eyes are still open and you're technically awake. This is your body screaming for help so loudly that it performs a hostile takeover of your consciousness. It's perhaps the most dangerous signal on this list, because it happens when you're forcing yourself to perform tasks that require your full attention, like operating machinery or driving. It's the ultimate proof that you can't outsmart your body's fundamental needs. You can ignore the whispers, but you can't ignore it when it decides to just pull the plug. Number 2, sudden clumsiness. You're walking down a perfectly flat hallway and you suddenly trip over your own feet. You reach for a glass of water on the table and completely miss, knocking it over. You're constantly bumping into door frames, dropping your keys, and generally moving through the world like a cartoon character who just got hit on the head with an anvil. You might laugh it off as just being clumsy, but a sudden and noticeable increase in clumsiness can be your nervous system waving a giant red flag. Your coordination is a complex dance between your brain, your nerves, and your muscles. Proprioception, your sense of where your body is in space, relies on a constant stream of information. When this system is working, you can walk, run, and grab things without thinking about it. But when it starts to fail, it's often a sign that the system is under duress. What could cause this? The culprits are often the usual suspects: severe fatigue, dehydration, or extreme stress. When you're exhausted, Your brain's processing speed slows down, delaying the signals to your muscles. Dehydration can cause muscle cramps and dizziness. Chronic stress floods your body with hormones that can make you jittery and less precise. It can also be a sign of more serious issues like a vitamin deficiency or a neurological problem. So if you suddenly find yourself with the grace of a newborn giraffe, don't just brush it off. Your body is physically demonstrating that its internal communication lines are breaking down. It's a physical cry for help, written in the language of spilled coffee and bruised shins. Number 1. Sudden foot spasms. You're lying in bed, just on the cusp of sleep, when suddenly your foot or leg involuntarily jerks or twitches. It feels like a tiny electric shock, a quick, uncontrollable spasm that wakes you up and leaves you wondering what just happened. This isn't a hypnic jerk, which is a larger body convulsion. These are smaller, more localized, and often repetitive twitches. You might brush it off as a one-time thing, but if it starts happening frequently, it could be your nervous system sending you an important message. I need more magnesium. Magnesium is an essential mineral that plays a crucial role in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body, including nerve function and muscle contraction. When you don't get enough magnesium, your nerves can become overactive and send errant signals to your muscles, causing them to spasm or twitch. Think of it like a car engine. Magnesium is the oil that keeps everything running smoothly. Without enough oil, the engine sputters, jerks, and makes strange noises. In your body, these strange noises are muscle spasms. Stress, certain medications, and even too much caffeine or alcohol can deplete your magnesium levels, making these twitches more common. Your body is remarkably good at telling you what it needs, but sometimes its language is a bit twitchy. So if your feet are doing the samba on their own at night, it's not a ghostly dancer. It's just your muscles crying out for a nutrient they desperately need. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.